Welcome to Family Law Talk, presented by Kirk Stange of Stange Law Firm, PC. Stange Law Firm is a family law firm in the St. Louis metro area with offices in Missouri and Illinois. Now, here's your host, Kirk Stange.
Welcome to Family Law Talk. My name is Kirk Stange, and I am one of the managing partners of Stange Law Firm. Stange Law Firm is a family law firm with multiple offices in the St. Louis metro area in Missouri and Illinois. Well, welcome on a Friday afternoon to Family Law Talk with Stange Law Firm. Today's topic is an interesting one and one that probably won't make me real popular with the folks out there that really enjoy and like the big weddings, but it is what it is, and it's an interesting topic. I think it's definitely one that folks are interested in. We actually posted this article out on our social networking sites, and it's gotten a lot of hits, a lot more hits than a lot of the other articles we've posted, which told me this would be a good topic for a podcast because obviously the folks out there are interested in it. But the title of the article is How a Costly Wedding Could Lead to Divorce. Definitely an interesting topic, one that, like I said, probably doesn't make me popular with the folks out there that really enjoy and like the big weddings, but the data is what it is, and definitely a topic that folks should be aware of, especially those of you that might be engaged, might be looking to get married soon, and definitely for family law attorneys, something to spot in terms of looking at cases. But again, the title of the article, How a Costly Wedding Could Lead to Divorce. This is based on an article on our main webpage, StangeLawFirm.com, that the folks can go to and listen to as a follow-up to the podcast here today. Definitely an interesting topic. And for the listeners out there, if you want to get to the article itself, all you do is go to www.StangeLawFirm.com, click on the Articles tab, and scroll down, and you'll see the article titled, How a Costly Wedding Could Lead to Divorce. So we'll get into the topic itself here in just a minute, but before we get into it, I should state, as I always do, that the choice of a lawyer is an important decision that should not be based solely upon advertisements, and that the information you obtain today in the episode is general in nature, and it may not apply to a specific factual or legal circumstance. Therefore, if you need legal advice, you should definitely consult with an attorney who is licensed to practice law in your specific jurisdiction. All right, so let's get to the article itself. Again, the title of the article, How a Costly Wedding Could Lead to Divorce. We got a lot of the information for this article from a webpage called dailymail.co.uk. So the article itself, where we got a lot of the info from, is a British webpage, and so some of the data being cited here is from Great Britain, and so it's not in the United States, certainly not in Missouri or Illinois specifically. So I guess somebody could look at this and say, well, maybe that's true in England, but not so true in the U.S., but I bet the data is probably pretty similar no matter how you look at it. But the premise of the article is this, is a family law attorney in Great Britain at a firm called Slater & Gordon, who said 8 in 10 couples who divorce within 5 years cite spending too much on the wedding as a reason. So in other words, the wedding itself caused a lot of stress on the marriage, which puts the marriage itself on a bad footing, which then leads to divorce within 5 years. And that's kind of the premise of this. And to the listeners out there, you might state, well, why is that? You know, how could a big wedding where all the family is there lead to divorce? It would seem like that would be a joyous occasion and put the wedding on a better footing. But here's kind of the premise of the whole thing. Big weddings cost a lot of money, and when people who are getting married spend a lot of money on a wedding, what ends up happening is they get deeply in debt right out of the gates. So they're coming out of the gates with debt, and that this puts a strain on the relationship, and it's kind of a noose around the neck of a new married couple right out of the gates that somebody wouldn't have if they had a small wedding. And I would say to all the listeners out there, we've all been to big weddings, and big weddings are a heck of a lot of fun if you're a guest. I mean, you've got things like live bands, open bars, you got a great meal. Most of these meals are multi-course meals, which, a wedding, you can't beat it if you're a guest. The problem for the folks getting married is that's an expensive bill, and unless the parents foot that bill, then the couple themselves, they've got to pay that. And that puts them in a position where right out of the gates they've got all this debt to work off of. And as I think all the listeners know, in this day and age, lots of people have lots of debt that maybe they didn't necessarily have before. So somebody spends $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 on their wedding, and then they've got student loans in the $100,000 range or above, which is typical in this society. And then you throw on things like credit card debt, car loans, et cetera. Now all of a sudden you're in a situation where a new married couple has got all this debt. And, in this day and age, folks graduating from college aren't necessarily making the same amount of money that they did in the past. And, a lot of people out there struggling right out of college trying to find a job. And if they find a job, it's not the job they really envisioned with the pay that maybe career services told them it was going to be. And so now you've got huge debt, not a lot of income, and all of a sudden there's this huge financial strain, which, according to the article, actually causes more divorce. So again, I know this isn't going to be popular with the people out there that like the big weddings. Heck, I like the big weddings. I mean, going to big weddings as a guest is great fun, and I think probably is just about anybody who doesn't enjoy going to a big wedding. But to the new married couple, a huge amount of debt, and I think the comeback a lot of people would say to me is, well, what about the cases where the parents foot the bill? So the parents are footing the bill. It's not necessarily the new married couple footing the bill. So in that situation, how does a big wedding help cause a divorce within the first 5 years? Well, according to this article, the issue is that same amount of money that the parents are spending on the wedding on behalf of their kids who are getting married, that could have been applied to some of the debt. So versus spending $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 on a wedding, why not take that same amount of money and pay off some student loans, pay off some credit card debt, maybe pay off the car note? And so again, the premise of the article is take that money on the big wedding, pay off the debt. Now all of a sudden you don't have the money problems to worry about while you're going into your marriage right out of the gates. So again, that is the premise of the article. So definitely a really interesting article. One that I tell all the listeners is definitely interesting to listen to, and definitely one that you might want to check out. And again, if you go to our article on StangeLawFirm.com, you'll see the link to the article on dailymail.co.uk, and you can read the article itself. It gives an example of, I guess, the actress Keira Knightley, who apparently had a low-key wedding with just about 12 people being there, and they used this wedding as a great example of how people ought to do it. So again, maybe this sounds unromantic. I know a lot of folks out there like big weddings, and even in hearing this, they're going to want the big wedding because that's what they saw. Maybe their parents do, and obviously on TV and whatnot, it's glorified, and obviously a lot of good and great things about big weddings. But just giving objective data out here, apparently 8 out of 10 people who get divorced early cite the wedding as being a stressful experience that resulted in a lot of debt that helped actually precipitate the divorce in a lot of ways. So definitely something to think about. We're just providing the information out there. If you want to have a big wedding, obviously definitely feel free to do it. I know a lot of folks out there really enjoy the big weddings. So again, we're just trying to give you the data. So that concludes today's episode of Family Law Talk with Stange Law Firm. Thanks for all the listeners who tuned in. We'll see you next time on Family Law Talk with Stange Law Firm. Thank you very much.
Thank you for listening to Family Law Talk with Kirk Stange. Visit StangeLawFirm.com for more about today's topic, or to put Stange Law Firm to work for your family today.
How's your money feeling? It's about to feel happier with a certificate from Happy Money's partner, Michigan State University Federal Credit Union. Elevate and increase your savings with 18-month terms and only a $500 minimum. And the happiest part? MSU FCU certificates yield 4.5% APY annual percentage yield. Now that's a happier side of money. Elevate your savings. Go to happymoney.com/MSUFCU. That's MSUFCU. Funds insured up to $250,000 by NCUA. The APY is accurate as of the 12/1/2023 dividend declaration date. Early withdrawal penalties do apply. Fees may reduce earnings on the account. Any monthly withdrawals or transfers reduce earnings.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.